I can't follow that. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Hebert. I also live here in Weaverville. I was in Vietnam in 1972 on the USS Newport News. After I got back from Vietnam, I completed SEAL training as an officer and spent a few years there. And after the Navy, I transitioned to the CIA. The reason I did that is because SEALs were about the first ones to be riffed after Vietnam. Destroyed my career plans. I had a long, eventful career there, 38 years as an operations officer and contractor. Tonight, I want to discuss the various types of stresses which can cause PTS, the post-trauma stress. We've heard a lot about combat stresses, worrying about being shot or blown up, or losing a buddy, or being in a plane crash. In addition, and a lot of people have alluded to this, military life in general is tougher than normal stateside life. Troops are generally out in the elements. Vietnam was hot. All of us agree on that. Iraq was hot. Hotter than that, I think. Afghanistan ran hot and cold. You could be in the snow, you could be in the desert. Sometimes it's drenching rain, sometimes blistering sun, or sometimes it's humid. And you're humping more gear than normal, which puts more strain on your body. And try to find a decent meal. Well, the only dangers are not just in combat. I know in the SEALs, sometimes just the training for routine missions has its own risk. I broke my back in a parachute jump, but it could have been worse. I busted a knee in winter warfare training, learning how to cross-country ski. That could have been worse. Learning to place demolitions on land, underwater, and under ice had its own risks. That could go bad quickly. SEALs lose a lot of guys in training incidents, and several more are injured. And I'm sure that applies to the other units. It's the only ones I can talk firsthand. When I went over to the CIA, it was a different set of stressors. Instead of being part of a team or platoon, most of my operations were solo. Whether I was meeting a source or collecting some sort of information, I was alone. In many countries, they were hostile to Americans, so just being out and about had risks. And no country likes for us to conduct espionage on their turf, even if they're friendly. In the more hostile countries, the risk involves possibly being arrested, thrown in prison, or killed. There were the few times where I was being dragged somewhere I didn't want to go and had to fight myself out. It's worse for the sources because they're often locals. In many cases, they'd be shot just for meeting with me at all, much less passing sensitive information to me. I've had at least 6 of my personal sources shot because of unproven suspicions that they were reporting to Americans. That's like a kick in the gut. I've had others lose their jobs because they were dimed out by a traitor, sometimes in our own ranks. Aldous Ames is in prison for life for spying for the Soviets. And his information caused many Soviets to be imprisoned, tortured, and often killed. One of my sources lost his job because Ames pointed out to Moscow that he was reporting to me. He got off easy. Other sources of stress were traveling and operating under different personas. Arriving in an airport, trying to remember who I am that day, my date and place of birth, my reason for travel, all of which I'd be asked at the immigration counter. Immigration officers are usually pretty good at spotting suspicious behavior in travelers. Nowadays, with the technology, it's more difficult to travel under a different persona with biometrics and internet searches. So this is just another form of service to the country, but these are the things that give me nightmares. Thank you very much.